Snow Cone Mini One Shot. I have a Island Iswocha story out, so please check it out. I wonder what he's up to right now. Uraraka said to herself as she walked down the sidewalk to the Midoriya household. She sent 2 texts already, and he hasn't responded to her. He said he'd be there early, so she's not sure why he isn't answering. The Gravity Girl was currently on her way to her friend's house so they could have a nice dinner together. Alone, just the 2 of them. She didn't totally imagine it was like a date or anything like that. Oh, who is she kidding? She's had a crush on him for the past few years of school and she hasn't had the guts to ask him out yet. She was too busy with her career to try and pursue a relationship with him. And she didn't want to ruin their friendship in the event he doesn't feel the same. And well, technically they wouldn't be alone either. His mom was there after all, but a chance to be with Izuku at all is something she couldn't and wouldn't miss. Soon she came up to their household in another few minutes. She happily knocked on the door and waited patiently till Izuku's mom answered. Hello Uraraka. It's lovely to see you. Please come inside. Inko invited her son's friend inside her home. Thank you Mrs. Midoriya, Ochako gave her a bow. She took her shoes off and stepped inside her house. The home wasn't anything fancy or expensive, but it was better than her home and she always felt welcome there. Where is Deku? Ochako asked following his mother through the house. He's in his room cleaning up, actually dinner is almost done, could you please go get him? His room is down the hallway. She pointed her in the right direction. I would be happy too, she said with her bright and happy face. She walked down the hallway and about halfway through she paused to look at some photos hanging on the walls. OMG, he's so cute. Ochako squealed in her head looking at an old picture of Izuku as child in a All Might onesie. And it was freaking adorable. She snapped a selfie. She wanted to see his reaction to her having this picture. As she got to his bedroom door, she noticed there was a slight crack. Getting curious, she peeked through the crack looking into his room. She couldn't see well because there weren't any lights on and the window blinds were shut. Deku, she called out. No response. She quietly opened the door, getting a better view, and she found her crush but too afraid to tell Guy in his bed fast asleep. She was moved at his cute sleeping form lying in his bed. If she listened very carefully she could hear him snore silently. She wanted to take him home and hold him forever. Hey Deku. It's time to wake up. She gave him a slight push which didn't wake him. Alright Deku. Come on, rise and shine. She grabbed a hold of his blanket and took it off his sleeping body. Only one problem. He had been sleeping without even underwear on. She threw the blanket and ran straight out of the door, slamming it behind her, causing Izuku to wake up. He didn't realize what happened. What the heck was that? Oh no, Uraraka. She is supposed to be coming over. Hope she hasn't got here yet. He immediately got up from his bed and got dressed in a green shirt and soft shorts. He left his room and noticed lights underneath the bathroom nearby. Hey mom, are you in there? He asked, knocking on the door. Ochako was inside, splashing cold water on her face as it was burning from the blood that rushed to her cheeks. Story continues below. Deku, it's me. I'll be out in just a minute. She called out to him from inside as she kept splashing. Oh sorry, I didn't even know you were here. I'll be in the living room when you're ready. Ochako heard his footsteps disappear. She splashed a bit more water on her face. She grabbed a nearby towel and wiped her face, drying it. Okay Ochako. It was very unexpected. It wasn't too bad, but definitely unexpected, and I just need to keep a straight face. At least that explains why he wasn't answering. She left the bathroom and found Inko setting dinner on the table and Izuku sitting down. Hey Uraraka. Are you feeling alright? Your face looks a bit flushed, Inko said with a bit of concern. Why yeah, I'm fine. It's just been a long day, she lied. Well, I hope you're hungry. We have food. Inko showed her the table of food. Breakfast food. She was a bit confused seeing eggs, pancakes, and hash browns for dinner. It's called breakfast for dinner. It's weird but it's also fun. Izuku explained. His mother gave him a look and he knew what he had to do. He pulled out his chair for her. Oh, such a gentleman. Ochako joked as she sat down beside her crush. Oops, I forgot one last food. I'll be right back. Inko headed back into the kitchen to get the last food. I don't know if I can eat so much of this, Ochako said as she looked at all the breakfast food. Don't worry, once you taste my mom's food you won't want to stop at all. Izuku had missed nights with his mom. He had moved out long ago. And he happened to take a nap, and he liked to sleep nude at his house. After a few more seconds Inko came back holding a plate. Here we go, she set it down on the table and Ochako's smile turned into an uncomfortable frown. She had laid out a place of sausage right in front of her. Uraraka, are you alright? You look you're uncomfortable. Izuku hoped she wasn't allergic or something. Oh, it's nothing. I'm just not a big fan of sausage. I am not trying to be rude, of course. That's the last thing she wanted to be, even with a plate of weenies in front of her after her earlier encounter. It's alright, sweetie. We have plenty of other stuff for you to have. She passed a plate of pancakes to her. Ochako felt better once the two Midoriyas ate the sausage so she didn't have to see it anymore. Well, it's not like she didn't like what she saw, it just came out of nowhere. But regardless, she had a good time with her crush and her mother, and dinner was a great time for the most part. So when did you two start to go out? Inko asked, causing them both to choke on their soda. Mom, we have, WWE we haven't. Izuku yelled after got himself settled. Ochako sunk in her chair blushing crimson red. What, is it not obvious yet? I mean, really, you always talk about her. She's the only girl you've brought home. And also you two do look pretty cute together. Inko did not hold back at all. Ochako peeked up a bit from her chair. He talks about me a lot. She thought about that, adding more blushing to her already blushing red face. Mom, he yelled again, just embarrassed as Ochako was. What? I'm just trying to help. She placed another pancake on her plate. Izuku and Ochako sat there in silence, not daring to look at one another as they say there in their shame. After a few minutes Ochako felt her phone vibrate. She looked at her alarm. Story continues below. Dang, it's getting pretty late. Sorry, I have to go. The last train leaves in 15 minutes. Ochako stood up and grabbed her purse. Already. Well, Izuku, make sure she gets there safe. She urged her son to walk her to the train station. That's not really necessary, Mrs. Midoriya. Ochako didn't know how she could be with him anymore for the night after everything. It's no trouble. Right, Izuku? She turned to her son, giving her a motherly smile. Alright. He grabbed his jacket from a coat rack and went outside with Ochako in the cold weather. They walked for just a bit, passing some snow. Ochako had an idea to just play with him. She gave him a bit of a shove, sending him to the snow. Hey, what was that for? Izuku asked, turning in the snow to face her as she chuckled a bit. Sorry, you just looked really open. Here, let me help you up. She reached out a hand to him and he took it. You look open as well, he tugged on her, pulling her downwards. But he meant for her to land in the snow beside him, not right on top of him instead. Their bodies were warm together despite the fact Izuku was lying right on the snow. Their faces were only just inches away from her each. They could feel each other's breath on their face. Neither one dared to move, not knowing how to react to the situation they now found themselves in. Deku, Ochako spoke first. You uraraka, he spoke her name as well. At the same time they both slowly started to move their faces close together. And closer. And closer. And CL. Wow, you really listened to me. Inko called to them from above the stairs. They hadn't walked far at all and from Inko's angle, it already looked like they started to kiss. Mom. Izuku was both embarrassed from her seeing them like that, and also upset that she interrupted before they could actually kiss. What? What's wrong? Inko asked clueless at the two below. Ochako scrambled of him and Izuku got up, brushing some snow off his clothes. Nothing. Come on, let's go, Uraraka. They walked away from his mom even more embarrassed, leaving Inko starting to think she did something wrong. The two walked towards the train station in silence. Neither knew what to say after their near kiss. Both thought that the other was very uncomfortable with what transpired. Ochako decided to break the ice, and if it worked she would get something she would really work. You know it's pretty cold out tonight, she pretended to shiver. It wasn't that cold, but it was enough for Izuku to wear a jacket. Yeah, it sure is, he agreed with her and they kept walking. I really wish I had brought my jacket with me, she tried to make him get the hint. Dang, that's a real shame, he was being so clueless, it almost seemed like he was doing it on purpose now. Chaco was trying to decide to be angry or think it was cute. She went for both. Is something wrong? He asked, noticing that she was making a look at him. Other than being really, and I mean, really cold, not really, she decided that if he didn't get it this time she would float him. Izuku then heard his mother in his head. Izuku, stopped being so clueless. She clearly wants your jacket, so give it to her like a gentleman. And also get milk on your way home. He heard her say inside his head somehow. Hearing her words, he immediately took his jacket. Here, since you're cold you can borrow my jacket. He handed to her and she gladly accepted it, glad he got it through his dense head. Thank you, she put it on and her heart was warmed more than anything else. She had a blush appear. Izuku was blushing from giving a girl his jacket. After walking for just a bit longer they made it to the train station. Thanks for having me again, Deku. But next time how about we go back to your place? She asked, not realizing how that sounded. Sure, anytime. He too didn't realize it. Ochako faced the train, but she had an idea, a brave one at that. She turned around and walked so close they could feel their breath on one another again. Hey Deku, do you mind if I try something? She asked, staring into his eyes. What is it? He felt his heart begin to beat hard against his chest. Ochako leaned close and gave him a quick kiss on his cheek near his lips. They both went red and stood there looking at each other. See you, Deku. Ochako gave him one last smile before boarding the train. Izuku slowly waved goodbye to her as the train departed. He then headed home after getting some milk. Looks like moms know best. And she still has my jacket. Izuku realized that Ochako still has his jacket. Meanwhile, Ochako snuggled happily in the seat with her new jacket. Some cute stuff with comedy. New reading list.